Thanks for having us. I am Mariela Zelada. I am the regional director of RedLEI, who is a network who works in Central America and Dominican Republic. And we want to share with you how our journey is using koha for our virtual library. RedLEI works in Central America. It's a network conformed by 6 higher education institutions, one for each country in Central America and Dominican Republic. We share our interest about early grade literacy, and we are working together since 2018 in improving the educational setting on the region. And we want to share with you today how our journey using koha for our virtual library is since the side of the users, how we are using koha to promote learning communities, and how it also is helping us to promote a network from the libraries from each of these universities. So as I was saying, we are working together in improving our educational settings on Central America and the Caribbean. Our center of operation is in Guatemala, in Universidad del Valle de Guatemala, but also we have parts of our team in El Salvador, some of them are in Honduras, and others are in the other countries on the region. We work in RedLEI, we work in many areas. Even when EGL is our core activity, we also doing research related with teacher training programs, also with early childhood teacher training, how these programs are improving or not the abilities or the skills for our children to read and write. We organize different activities related to knowledge mobilization as well. And we help to ministers on education and secretaries of education to develop educational policies. We also doing some advocacy activities related with giving them input to improve educational policies on the region and how they can count in with better information to take more informed decisions related with indicators, statistics, and how the educational settings are working on the region, and how the teachers are helping our children to develop better skills to read and write. Why do RedLEI has a virtual library? Even when the virtual library is the heart of the activities, we are using our virtual library for developing teacher training activities as a workshops, putting them some news material that the teachers can use and review. We also use our virtual library in developing communication process, not only for the ministers of education, but also for the practitioners, teacher trainers, and higher education institutions. And also, we have on our virtual library also many different resources that the researchers can use on educational research activities. We also put some of them available for doing some search activities, and they can access and consult it in very different ways. And koha has been central for this activity on our virtual library. Through our virtual library, we provide access to contextualized evidence for researchers, practitioners, parents, teacher trainers, higher education institutions, to give them access to information that, if not that the way, there is no any other way that they can access to it. We also support research processes through our virtual library, in which they can consult documents, they can use it, but also we give them some kind of mentorship or support in that they can do in better research processes. We also support researchers, teachers, and practitioners, as I was saying about how they can improve their activities they are developing in the region. Most of them are implementing some development project related with how can improve educational practice on schools, communities. And also we have into our virtual library some specialized repositories on EGL that was developing many years ago, and we are keeping them updating to give the practitioners and researchers the most accurate and update information about how are the EGL research and information related with it. And also our virtual library also has other materials like stories, short stories that the parents can use for improve the reading skills from their children. And also teachers in service can use these resources from educational settings and practices. Okay, so how does KOHA helps in our purpose? We starting at the beginning with our virtual library, using KOHA to design a space to save our educational resources produced by RedLEI. As I was saying, RedLEI is that network from universities, and one of our main purpose is to produce evidence. So we need at the beginning a space to save and to keep all these educational resources. After it, KOHA was helping us to support the needs of documentation and training, because we are starting developing formation and workshops and other activities related with teacher training. So KOHA was a very useful resource to us to help and support these documentation and training activities. And nowadays, we are evolving, and KOHA helped us to provide information and specialized evidence to conforming learning communities. We start seeing that the teachers and practitioners that are using our resources, even the researchers, are conforming learning communities, leading by their different interests, needs, and KOHA helped us to keep them posted, organized, and giving them a different array of resources that help them in their daily basis activities. Okay, KOHA is also help us in our virtual library to access to specialized information. It's very important to say that RedLEI is a unique network specialized on EGL in the region. So before us, many of these resources even doesn't exist, or even they are spread about all the region. So one of the most important activities was to keep them, all of them together, and conforming it our virtual library, giving the researchers and practitioners the opportunity to gather all the resources in one place. Always, as well, KOHA allow us to share and disseminate evidence that we build together. There's the most recent evidence, and also help us to improve educational quality on a challenging region. It's very important to say that the last results of the standardized test on ERCE led by UNESCO in 2018 was not very good for all the region. So this give us the one more reasons to keep working in a region to improve early literacy indicators. Also, koha is facilitating the access to these resources because it is an open system allowing us to share resources in the network, and also give us flexibility to adapt all the resources to the needs of our users, even for interest, for thematics areas, or even for activities when we are developing some of them. We choose the resources that we had in our virtual library and put them resources to the access for the practitioners or the teachers who are interested in. Also, we are using koha as a cataloging system, help our user in searchers. As was saying, RedLEI has repository of the more recently research related with EGL. So it also help us to improve or to help other junior researchers in their research process. Also allow us register users and keep tracks and statistics regarding which are the documents more consulted, more asked, or even where which of them are most user. And also it allows us to add spaces to promote interaction. In doing our formation activities, we are using koha as well to promote interaction between participants and among them, allowing, as was saying before, to conform learning communities when the people are participating with us. You can see here a part of how is our virtual library organized. For the region when we work, our virtual library is in Spanish, but also we use koha to organize and cataloging all the resources there, but also help us to suggest reading material list for our users, and give us also a space for sharing news and announce new materials that we are including, and we are updating our virtual library. We have there also 2 specialized repositories when we have all the resources and researchers that we found, and also with the people links to the digital resources there. And we made for them more easier to find resources and to look at the specific information they are looking for. We also develop a libraries network with partner universities. This has been a very well-received activity from the universities conforming RedLEI, because even when we are a network from higher education institutions, we also conform a network from the libraries from these higher education institutions inside koha. So you can access to the library from each of these universities, giving our users more availability of resources related with the interest of, and specifically EGL. And also to provide a space to share training resources and search support from specific researchers who are interested in developing a specific researcher related with EGL, teacher training, or early literacy, among other topics or areas who are in our virtual library. Okay, so summing up, koha is help us to support educational researchers, also in service teachers, teachers trainers, parents, and practitioners. And this is very unique in the region because koha is conforming a space where people can share and mingle together, and starting conforming, as was saying, learning communities. And it's also being a professional development resource as well. So for us, it's very important to keep promoting these partnerships and this sharing of specific interests related with EGL. Also, allow us to guard specialized evidence on early grade literacy in the Central America and the Caribbean, that, as I was saying, that was not exist before. Also, allow us sharing resources with other libraries to contribute to knowledge mobilization. And I have to say that knowledge mobilization activities was very unique and important from the region, because there are not so much experience before that experience that RedLEI was developing related with knowledge mobilization in the region. So that we can use koha to promote knowledge mobilization is a very important for us. And also, koha is helping us to conform EGL learning communities along the region, when people can find not only resources, and also it's a space in which you can encounter other people with the same interests, the same difficulties, or the same challenge to improve EGL. So give the people the space and the possibility to share these concerns has been very important from their professional development as well. Okay, so our RedLEI virtual library, it has 2 repositories, an average of 5,000 monthly users, more than 4,000 resources, and it's conformed also by 7 partner libraries, who is important for us, that our virtual library is evolving to be the core of this network libraries as well. Okay, so RedLEI and RedLEI Library keeps working to build a region that reads and writes, who is challenging in Central America and the Caribbean. And we are very glad to koha is a very important partner with us in this purpose. So thank you for having us, and thanks for listening me and giving the opportunity to share our experience.